Okay, cool. So what I'm going to go over a couple calls today. I have one client who, or two clients. One's a $750,000 call. The other one's a $3 to $4 million call. And then I go in and then I'll share with you guys at the end a video of me kind of getting a buyer slash seller as well, getting them with the cash offer and what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive in and kind of share. Let me share my screen here.
Hello.
Hey, Tim, it's Kyle Kunkel. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, I was just giving you a call. I saw that you were kind of looking at some of our new construction. Just kind of wanted to see what you were looking for.
I think we've kind of decided to go a different way now. So I
Okay.
appreciate the call back.
Yeah, no problem. Are you looking to buy in Durango or make a move in the next 6 to 12 months?
So he basically tells me like, "Hey, I'm looking to go a different direction. This isn't going to be a good fit for me." That type of thing. And I continue on with another question, right? So, my question is, well, are you looking to make a move in the next 6 to 12 months, right? He told me no out the gate. We have to expect to hear no. We're always going to hear no. You should try to go for no as many times in the conversation. There's a book called Go for No. And the whole concept there is like if Kobe Bryant or Steph Curry or, whatever is hot, right? They scored 40 points by half. You're not going to pull them out of the game just because they hit their quota, right? And that's what a lot of times happens in sales. Like the real estate agent, I closed my deal for the month. I closed 3, 4 deals already. I set appointments. I'm good. But it's like, no, you should be going for no because it builds momentum. And if you're in a rhythm, you want to stay in that rhythm. You don't want to pull yourself out of the game, right? And so the whole concept of that book is go for no. And so we have to expect people to tell us no out the gate.
That's what we was in hopes of. We had some other things come up. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or not. So that's
Okay.
why we kind of pulled the plug on things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were looking for some land and build or, a decent house to buy.
Yeah.
But things kind of changed all of a sudden on us. So
Oh,
don't know
shoot.
if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah. Is it health related? Everything?
So I go in and ask him like, "Hey, is it health related?" He says no, but it just shows like, "Hey, I care about the client." Right? Like, what would be the reasoning for you to pull into a different direction? Like, what does that even mean?
Everything all right?
Yeah. It's just, some other things come up. So maybe that's the way we want to go instead of this way. So,
Okay. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
but
Where you guys from originally?
well, Florida right now.
Okay.
So,
Nice. Well,
yeah.
from one paradise to another, I guess, right?
Yeah. That's what we were thinking, kind of maybe even split it up if we could. So,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but appreciate the call back, and we'll keep your number in case things change because, like I said, things are always changing. So,
They do. They change quickly. They do. Just curious, what kind of area you were looking at in?
Now, he's still like, "Hey, we're going a different direction." All of those things. We'll keep your number. They always say that just to be nice, right? But what for me, like you got to stay so curious about the other person that they be curious in you. And so I start with asking the question, "Hey, just curious, I'm trying to get more details out of him, right?" So I'm saying like, "Hey, just curious, what exactly are you looking for?"
To build, or what areas were you looking in?
we were looking over in, what was the name of that little town that's just southwest? It's a spot in the road. Has
Dolores or
has a
Mancos?
little bitty ski slope there. What do they call it?
Are you talking about Mancos, Colorado?
No, not that far out. Back this way a little ways, just out of
Oh,
Durango a
Durango?
little ways. Hesperus or something like that.
Oh, Hesperus. Yeah.
Hesperus.
Okay.
We found some high ground in there that had a few acres. We're wanting a few acres. We're not just wanting a spot to put a house. We're wanting a few acres, like everybody, I guess. Have a little
Sure.
privacy and see a little mountain and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So when you say acres, are you thinking like 5, 10, 20, 35?
3 to 5 is all.
Okay. There you go. So 3 to 5
Yeah.
acres with some views.
Right. And be great if it wasn't in an HOA.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yep. And are you guys looking to build or?
we'd go either way. If we found a house we liked, that'd be grand. If not, we
Okay.
find a piece of land and try to build what we want.
Yeah.
You know, what we want and what we end up with sometimes are a lot different dollar-wise.
That is very true. That is very true. What is kind of the price point you guys are wanting to stay within?
So I let him bring up price, right? Because a lot of times, and eventually I will ask if they don't give it to me. But it's not the first thing that I bring up. I bring up what's important to him, all the other things. And then he makes a comment about price. So it's an easy segue for me to be like, well, what is kind of the price points you guys are looking to stay within?
I think we was looking from like $750 down for a house and land.
Okay. $750 and either new construction or just something you liked.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll definitely keep that in mind. You know, one of the things that makes us kind of unique is that we're able to find properties that are off market. So once we kind of know what someone's looking for, we can do some, you know, marketing or, you know, calling our database, or there's a number of things, but we're able to pull people who are likely to sell. And, you know, now that we know you want to be in the Hesperus area, we could, we could potentially find something that's not even on the market.
Yeah.
So,
and that's not a have to. When you said Mancus and Coats, whatever there, we had looked at a few in there that, you know, set back and still had views. Wasn't too. We'd like a little high country just because of the cooler weather in the summertime.
Sure. So being between Mancus and Hesperus area.
Yeah, or we even looked up the other way, up towards the reservoirs.
Okay, yeah, Dolores.
No, I'm back towards Durango, north and east of Durango.
Oh, okay, yeah, Lemon,
I
Viacito.
can never say that word. So.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Lemon and Viacito, those are great areas too. So it just kind of depends on what's important to you. So it sounds like some acres, potential views, and you know, obviously a nice house. Or is it like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, if it's 2-story to get some square footage, basement under or something, all that works for us. Or not.
Okay. That's good to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the call. I got to run here, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
Got
set you up
some?
on a little search and shoot you over a little follow-up, and we'll just stay in touch, Tim.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's a few things to note. One is I laid in a value proposition, right? Hey, we can find properties that are off market based on once we know what you're looking for, we can go do that. So I'm not going to put in the effort and energy to go do that until we have a signed buyer's agreement, right? So that's where that comes in. I know I'm not going to go get a signed buyer's agreement based on a 5-minute conversation. So I always know there's a next step. The next step is to get him set up on a search. And then I sent him my buyer webinar that articulates the value, what makes us different. So now he's going to go spend 30, 40 minutes to an hour watching us go over what makes us different, why work with us. It's basically the buyer's presentation in webinar format. So at that point, once I know he watches that, I set him up on a search. I'm going to go ahead and call him again, and I'm going to say, hey, you know, were you able to watch the webinar? Oh, yeah, that was great. Cool. Well, what I'd like to do is actually start finding properties for you off market. In order to do that, we got to look at having a buyer's agreement in place, right? So now he's like, well, shoot, if I really want to work with this guy, I got to commit, right? Because he's not going to commit to me if I'm not committed. So at that point, I kind of make him make a decision. And if they're not comfortable with that, then I say, hey, well, great. We'll just keep you on the search. And I just know it's not somebody I'm going to spend a ton of time with just because they're not serious. But if they're serious, they're going to commit, right? So that's the goal. That's the goal there. And then next, I'm going to go over a call I did. So this is somebody we, you know, kind of sent the cash offer to, kind of let things sit for a little bit. Now I'm coming back to them and looking to go to the next step as far as getting the close, right? So they basically countered what we gave them. So you can kind of hear the conversation over over the phone here, but I recorded it, and you can kind of see what I'm looking at, what I look at as I do it. And so I think it's a phone call, but I have it recorded video format. So,
Kelly,
hey, Kelly, it's Kyle Kunkel. How's it going?
how are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Do you have a good fourth? Okay. Okay. Boring.
In the closet with my dog, but it's all good.
Hey, that's all right. No marathons or anything like that, or sorry.
No marathons. Marathons are for wimps. I do
Triathlons. Excuse me. True. Forgot. You're more of a badass than I thought.
Yes, sir, I am. That's correct.
I love it. I love it.
I found a hummingbird nest outside my office door.
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm giving them some water. Okay.
Sugar water?
What's going on?
Okay, so I start off the conversation. I have a conversation with her before, so she knows who I am, right? I've remembered things about her. I it was a triathlon, not a marathon, right? Made a joke like, hey, you're more of a badass than I thought, like stuff like that, right? So making him laugh, making him feel comfortable, stuff like that. I am calling you, just wanted to check in on your place up there in Colorado. So just wanted to see, it doesn't look like you've rented it out, but
That's correct.
Okay? I don't remember if we ever went over the offers that they came up with. I know it wasn't really something you were interested in, but
You told me something in the 500s or 600s, and I was like, yeah, don't bother unless it's got a 9 in front of it.
Yeah. So the offer itself, it's higher than that. The offer itself is $1,500,000, but there's a ton of fees involved. So your net basically comes out to be $869,000.
Why don't you send that over to me, because those fees can be negotiated.
They can. You're absolutely right. So it's a $869,000 would be your basically your net. And the way that they've done it is they've structured it in 2 payouts. So you would close in 3 weeks, and you would get $678 would be your first payout, and then they would go and relist the property. And at that point, it doesn't look like there's anything to be done to it. And then at that point, you would get the remainder of the $190,000. Now the pluses and minuses, right? So if it sells at that $1,500,000, then great, awesome. If it sells for more, then you get the more. If it sells for less, then you.
$1,500,000. It'll sell for $950,000.
Okay, so if we did the math there, so then your net would be around $819,000. So that would be
That's still $100,000 less than what I could actually get after fees. So I would be losing $50,000.
Yeah, if that's the case, then this is just how they wrote it up. So, you can always counter it, right? So if you're like, hey, I believe it would sell for $950,000 on the open market, they're saying that they'd buy it for $1,500,000, but they have high fees. So, if you were like, hey, let's try to squeeze out more out of that first payment, so that's a little bit more to you.
So Kyle, none of this matters until I see it in writing.
Sure. I'll go ahead and send over just the outline of it. And then if you want me to. Okay. So just to get kind of caught up, right? So the strategy here that I'm going with is like, hey, this is kind of what it is. If it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Trying to stay kind of laid back in it. And she's saying like, hey, it's got to be this. And I was like, well, we can, she's like, we can counter it. I'm like, yeah, we can. You're right. And so that's kind of where we're at in the conversation. Like, hey, we're going to counter this, kind of see where it goes. It's not going to be super negotiable. We can maybe get 1% or 2%, so we can get a little bit closer to 900 out on the net, but not much, right? With that said, she also said, hey, like none of this means anything until it's in writing. So what I did was I took a screenshot of this, excluded the company, right? Because I do not have an agreement with her yet. So I'm not trying to just give her the company so she can go straight to the company. I am just saying like, hey, here's what they're willing to offer. So I just screenshotted over. She emailed me, I think this morning, was like, hey, I need to be closer to 920, which we're not going to get to. I can already tell you that. But I'm going to still ask, and they're going to come back with a different number. And then at that point, we're going to have another conversation, right? But I tee up what I believe is going to be the next step in the next couple minutes. Actually, I can get the paperwork and the addendum and stuff like that. Now, a question that is important. Is this currently, do you have a listing agreement with this agent, or is it just a agreement to lease the property?
It's just an agreement to lease the property, and I think it was only a 2-month agreement anyways, and I think we're at the end of that anyways. And he hasn't sent me the paperwork even after I requested it from him to potentially extend it. So,
Oh, okay. Well,
so what is the goal of the offer? Is the offer, are they going to make, like if I say, listen, I want 900K, you can make 50 on it. Or are they unwilling to negotiate that, or are they doing this because it's going to save me time and all that stuff? Because 100K is a lot to lose and 50K is a lot to lose.
100%.
So, I mean, I need to see it in writing before we get any paperwork done. So I need a proposal on what the offer was, what the fees are, and then go from there.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and send it over to you. It's pretty simple to understand. And then at that point, we can look at countering it. Or, I mean, that would be obviously the move, and then see what's the highest you could get on the dual payment. Try to get 700 out the gate versus 678, and then that second payment, obviously try to get more.
I'm talking about the end number. I don't care about the payments, because legally you guys are going to be obligated to pay it out no matter how you slice it or dice it. What I want is the whole nut, right? So would they be willing to make the offer at 900, sell it on the market for 950? And they would absolutely, even if they bought it for 900, they would make 25, and they sold it for 925, which they wouldn't, right? But if they list it for $1.5 million, they'll never get any offers. I'm telling you, I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we can make that argument or that counter. So they make their money on their fees, and the way that they mitigate their risk basically is doing like the dual close, right? And so that's basically how they do it. So they do thousands of deals, so it's not like their first rodeo or anything like that. And either is it yours, so it could be a good fit, it may not be, but I'll send over it over in basically in writing, so you can understand it and see it kind of laid out. And then at that point, we can counter it and see. And if you're confident it would sell at 950 on the open market, that may be the play too, where it's like, okay, cool, we'll get you with one of our agents there. We'll list the property, try to get more than 950. And then at that point, we can always leverage this offer, and people always want what they can't have. So basically saying like, hey, we have someone who's written us an offer, and people are like, well, shoot, then, here's. So I kind of set up the next play, right? Because I don't believe, now we're close on the numbers, but I think we'll probably just take the listing, and that's the goal anyways, right? We just want to take the listing. That's the name of this game, is like, hey, we leverage the cash offer to get listings, not just to always get the cash offer, right? And so I tee that up as the play, and I tee it up with like, hey, part of our value proposition when we come to the market is we already have an offer to fall back on, and we have an offer to leverage on the open market, because people always want what they can't have, right? And so getting 20, 30 people through an open house, and then all of a sudden saying like, hey, we actually have an offer. If anybody, is interested, we're going to be countering that offer probably by, the end of whatever day you're on, right? So they're like, oh shoot, we got to get our offer to you. So that's kind of the game that we play. So at this point, we're going to go back and counter the company. The company is going to say, hey, this is our highest and best. This is what we can do. So probably say, I'm not willing to lose. She already said it. I don't want to lose $50,000 to $100,000 when I know I can just go sell it on the open market. And I'm like, great, cool. Then we'll just list the property for you, make our 3%. And then she's a buyer for us in our Phoenix market. So now she's going to go buy something for 1.3 down there. So it's like, it's a good place to be in. Now, a lot of times when we run the new construction, now she came from the new construction funnel, but she had to sell something first, right? And so a lot of times, like, buyers are sellers, and so we're helping her solve her problem so she can go buy, right? And so in this way, we're getting paid twice, which is great. We're leveraging the cash offer to get the listing. And to actually, she may take it, it may go to the open market and it may not sell at 950. And she's like, well, shoot, I guess the market is only going to allow me to sell it for this amount. And I do really want to buy in the Phoenix market. So let's go. So it's more about giving the person options, which is what we're able to do. So that, and knowing also it's a process, but to realize like, cool, 6-minute conversation, another 6-minute conversation. We'll probably get the listing. I'll spend less than 10 minutes on that. So all in all, I'll spend less than an hour and go make 30K, and then my split with another agent, let's just call it, I'll make 20K on that deal. And then I'll make another 15K on the one in Phoenix. And I'm not even going to show her the properties. So all in all, I'll probably spend less than 2 hours on this deal and go make 30, 40K just from having conversations with her and giving her access to these tools. So that's the game. And I want to teach you guys how to do it too. So what I can send you guys that video. We should have it up on our YouTube, I think today, but I can send it to you guys. And that call was yesterday, right? So this is like real time stuff. This isn't last year. This isn't like 2 years ago, 2 weeks ago. Like that conversation happened yesterday. So, what questions you guys got?
I just enjoy listening to you walk through it. So
cool. Yeah. Hopefully that's helpful. I think for you guys, it'll help. The more times you walk a client through the cash offer, the more you're going to understand the objections, the more you're going to understand like what the goal is. And you always want to forward paste them, right? So I forward paste her to either listing the property or taking the cash offer, right? That was the goal of that conversation, and knowing there's always a next move for that person, almost like you're playing chess. Like, what's the next move? So what other questions you guys got?
I've got a silly one, but doesn't pertain to this. The DNS or DND.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I ask you that? So what's the process with that? Does that mean I can't text them, but I can call them and email them?
Yeah, that's right. So when they D&D, do not disturb, it means that they're D&Ding from the text message. You can still call them. You can still email them. Now, if they D&D from the email, that's different. But most of the time, like they'll D&D from the text, but keep the email. You can still call them. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? Nada? All right, cool, guys. Well, I'll send it off to you guys. Keep crushing it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.